Hey guys, Eric here with you. It is still Wednesday, February the 14th, Valentine's Day here in the U.S. We have a little less than an hour, about 58 minutes to go here in the trading day. I noticed shares of Procter & Gamble have been getting beat up over the past several weeks, so I wanted to look at an opportunity here for a long position for a longer term standpoint. So the reason I'm looking at this one, I see here that whenever this low was back from 2015. This high was up in 2017. So this swing right here is what I'm looking at, and we have obeyed these retracement levels pretty well. You can kind of see that they've all been significant here, and then this one was significant here as well as here. So like I say, there's a lot of this kind of validates that this is a good swing here to be working with. And so I also see now that we have tested the 50% retracement, which was at about 80 bucks. So, and we set a low down, it looks like about 78.5, somewhere in that area. So, we have since recovered back on it. Now, this is a weekly time chart. So this, red bar right here is from last week, actually. So this week we are now, higher on the week, and we are holding above that 50% retracement, which I think is a good sign. So my kind of scenario here, and I'll show you over on a daily chart to kind of make it a little bit easier. This level right here, and this has kind of been a area that's been worked in the past. This was support in this kind of $86 area. You can see that we've tested it here. We tested it here. And then we actually stopped there for a brief moment before we cratered and fell down to 80 bucks. So, I think that this is kind of a thing that you can go ahead and start jumping into. This one is getting some bullish kind of vibes to me. So I think that it's going to be working out well. Like I say, the way that we're wanting to play this, from a shorter term standpoint, is that in a technical standpoint, we're going to be looking for a bounce back up to this area, which was previously support, now turned resistance. And so I think that we get that $86 here in the next few weeks. So that's looking at about a $5 a share from current 81 bucks area. It's very true that it may end up dipping back down or falling to new lows. But at the same time, I think that the more likely is that we just kind of consolidate, and then we'll ultimately clear this out and start going back up to this 200-day moving average. Of course, now it's important to note that the moving averages are all above us, so that's bearish, and generally speaking, and the 50 just crossed the 200, so that's also bearish. But those tend to be lagging indicators to me, so I'm not worried about that so much at the time being. Like I say, you're getting a good company with a good dividend for a relatively cheap price, and I think that's a good thing to have. And just kind of show you, I'm sure you're aware of Procter & Gamble, or at least have heard of them, but you may not be quite aware of how big they are or how many things they own. So I went ahead and pulled it up here for you. These are some of the brands that are owned by PG. I kind of looked at this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I mean, we pretty much own stuff in all these regards. I mean, I have, and I don't myself use Always or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure there's somewhere in there in the bathroom somewheres, and I think that you can see here Bounty, Braun, Charmin, Dawn, Downy, Breeze, Gain, Old Spice. I mean, it's just ridiculous how many brands this thing owns. And so I mean, I can kind of scroll down here through. You can look through this a little bit closer. But there's some really big names in here. I mean, Pantene, Gillette, Luz, Head and Shoulders, Gillette. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Tide, that's one of the biggest ones. Especially for me, I love my Tide. So anyways, it's a great company with a great product line, and it's very well ran. So I think that it's one of those that you can kind of buy and own for a long-term view. I'm not entirely convinced that I don't think that the downside is at this point is too big. So like I say, I mean, there is that potential for $4 or $5 to the downside, but to me that's not that bad, especially given the fact that the upside potential is pretty strong, and you get a dividend to hold it while you're waiting for that upside. So like I say, I'm looking, and I was just looking at the option market here. I'm looking at March and April expiration. The March $80 calls are trading at about 230 right now. The April $80 calls are trading at about $3. So, that's either one of those would do well from a standpoint of recovering back to that $86 level. You could go out of the money if you wanted to and look at some 82.5s, and those are a lot cheaper, obviously. About $1 for March and about $1.63 for April expiration. Either way, I think you can buy the shares. I think you can buy the options and just give yourself some time, because this is not a fast mover. But I think, like I said, I think we're going to be looking for a recovery up into this area. which is in the 86, is maybe as high as the 88, which is at Fibonacci, the 23.6 Fibonacci level. So that's a pretty nice looking little gain. Like I say, if you can leverage it with options, then you're looking pretty good. So I'm a buyer of Procter & Gamble right here, right now. All right, guys, I'll give you a post market wrap up here in a little while and going into the close. So just for now, though, go ahead and start buying you some shares of PG and buy those for a long-term play. All right, guys, see you later.